Direct trades, assembling compression fittings. Here we see a typical compression fitting used in plumbing. This is a compression T, straight through coupling, and a compression elbow. All of these are in 15mm, which is the equivalent of the old-fashioned half-inch. In comparison, this is a 22mm T, next to a 15, and the 22 is the equivalent of the old 3/4 inch pipework. In this video we're just going to show how to simply assemble a copper pipe using a straightforward coupler in 15mm. So first thing to do is to take apart the fitting by removing the two nuts at the end, and you'll find a 15mm olive in the middle, which you mustn't lose, because that is required to make a watertight fitting on the copper pipe. This is the inner sleeve. If you look carefully you'll see at the ends there are chamfered fittings, which the olive sits quite happily into the bevel of the fitting, and the nut then attaches on top of the olive to compress it onto the copper pipe. So first thing to do is insert the nut over the copper, like so. Make sure that that's an easy fit. Then the olive should be a tight but easy fit over the top, and then the compression fitting itself is put on and tightened up. Same process applies to the other side, and obviously this would be a continuous run of pipe normally, not just a section like this. First the nut, then the olive, bring the fitting together and tighten. Hand tight to begin with, and then you're going to need to use adjustable spanners to grip hold of those nuts and tighten them up together. The important thing to remember about the compression fitting is don't over tighten it. You can always go back to it later on and nip it up a bit more if you've got any slight weeps. It's never a good idea to over tighten these fittings, whether that's for water or gas. They really just need a good hand tightness and then maybe a quarter to half turn afterwards. Just demonstrating here that that is not tight enough, because the copper pipe can be pulled out, so the olive isn't yet squeezing tightly onto the copper. So we'll give it another quarter to half turn. You can actually hear it creaking as it starts to tighten onto the copper pipe, and that should be tight. You'd then let the water back into that pipe, check it for leaks, and if you needed to tighten it again, another small turn.